26-year-old Sylvia Cobb.
Cobb lives just a mile away from the crime scene, and someone had filed a missing persons report on her just 3 hours earlier.
Meanwhile, at autopsy, the medical examiner determines blunt force trauma was the cause of death, as the victim had suffered a fracture to the back of her skull. A rape kit is also performed because there are indications that a sexual assault had occurred.
Later that evening, the medical examiner is able to use fingerprints to confirm that the victim is, in fact, Sylvia Cobb.
2 days later, July 27th, Detective Vavasseur pays a visit to Sylvia's mother's house, where her family is gathered.
Sylvia's mother explains that her daughter was a drug user and would typically stay out most of the night, come home early in the morning, and sleep all day.
The last time anyone saw Sylvia was around 3 a.m. Sunday morning on July 22nd. She was in high spirits and dancing around in the front yard before being picked up in a red Chevy Blazer.
Apparently, a small car followed the Blazer, but no one knows who the occupants of either vehicle were. Sylvia left wearing the dress and white shoes she was found dead in 3 days later.
Before long, investigators learned that the latent prints recovered from the Sylvia Cobb crime scene don't match anyone in the local or national databases. The homicide investigation goes ice cold.
Coming up, an entire city in panic from multiple serial killers. You're watching It Takes a Killer. On the bus stop, suddenly, a large man approaches and asks for bus fare.
When Martinez reaches for some change, the man begins striking her. Then he drags her about 30 feet into the woods where they can't be seen.
Fearing the sexual assault, Martinez lies and tells her attacker she has AIDS, hoping he'll stop. Yet the man overpowers her and beats her in the face.
The man then starts violently strangling Martinez in and out of consciousness.
Martinez finally plays dead. After a few minutes, the assailant leaves her alone, but not before grabbing her purse.
A few minutes later, Martinez sneaks out of the woods and weighs down a good Samaritan who takes her to the hospital. She's treated for a broken ankle and a bruised neck and a severely swollen eye.
Once Martinez is released from the hospital, she checks her bank accounts and realizes that one of them has been drained before she ever had a chance to report her ATM card stolen.
Johnny Martinez goes to Lafayette Police Headquarters and reports the assault and theft.
Martinez describes her attacker as an African-American male, about 5'8", between 220 and 270 pounds.
Lafayette Police dispatch units to the area of Martinez's attack. Officers recover her jacket, which is later sent to the state crime lab for forensic testing.
Officers encounter a man in the woods named Johnny Dean Jr., who tells them how he had passed 2 men on the trail while en route to Walmart. Shortly thereafter, he heard a woman scream.
A few days later, detectives traced the use of Johnny Martinez's missing ATM card to a Baton Rouge bank. They're able to retrieve a surveillance image of the individual who emptied Martinez's account.
That Monday, an officer visits Martinez at home and shows her the lone image from the ATM security camera.
Martinez identifies the man in the image as her attacker, but has no idea who he is.
Lafayette police circulate the image around and check with homeless shelters in the region. Before long, one of Lafayette's own police officers thinks he recognizes the guy as Jeffrey Lee Guillory.
Police assemble a six-pack and show them to Johnny Martinez. She positively IDs Guillory as the man who attacked her in the woods.
Guillory's last known address is a homeless shelter in downtown Lafayette. They check the center, but Guillory is no longer there, so police distribute photos of him to local news outlets hoping to generate a lead.
A week later, Johnny Dean Jr. calls into Crime Stoppers. He recognizes Guillory as someone who hangs around the gas stations near the Lafayette Walmart.
Lafayette police issue a warrant for Guillory's arrest on an attempted first-degree murder charge. On January 25, 2008, Guillory is located in Baton Rouge and taken into custody.
Following his arrest, Guillory willingly speaks to investigators.
Guillory explains that he's homeless and travels throughout Louisiana, staying wherever he can and taking odd jobs to get by. He denies committing any kind of attack on Johnny Martinez.
Instead, Guillory claims he found Martinez's purse in a dumpster at the Chevron station. He does admit that he used Martinez's ATM card.
While Guillory sits behind bars at Lafayette Parish Correctional on robbery and device access fraud charges, DNA test results come back indicating his genetic material was on Johnny Martinez's jacket.
The authorities upload Guillory's genetic information to the National DNA Registry.
In August 2008, Guillory's genetic profile comes back as a match to DNA that had been recovered in 2002 from the shirt, breasts, and underneath the fingernails of Baton Rouge homicide victim Renee Newman.
The BRPD subsequently submits DNA evidence from their Florida Edwards case for further examination. In March 2009, Guillory is found to be a match to DNA found under the fingernails of Edwards' left hand.
That June, Guillory is extradited back to Baton Rouge.